Hello, in this video I'm going to go over a replacement that I have done on my healer builds that I feel is a strong move with the subclassing now live in the game this year. So I'm going to get right into it. I no longer use the healer staple of old, the Illustrious Healing or Grand Healing skill. And the reason why is because I can put the Green Balance Warden skill line on any healer that I want to. Now, why is that a good comparison? Well, let's take a look at the skill here and what it has to offer. It has an 8-meter radius, it lasts for 15 seconds, and it's fairly cheap. It costs 2,321 Magicka for my build. Now, if you're interested how I got to that, check out my other healer content. I've done quite a bit of videos on how to build healers and how I set my healers up to how I get my spell costs down like this. Check those out if you haven't looked into it. This heal is pretty much straightforward. It is a ground heal that is a heal over time, and that's it. So what you're seeing here is what you get from it. So when you cast it on the ground, that's not the skill. Let me put it here. There we go. When you cast it on the ground, this is what you get. It's just a big ring, swirling ring, and that's what you get out of it. So what I replace it with is the budding seeds. Now I'm going to go back into the Resto ability here so that I can easily jump up and down and show you the difference. So as I said before, you've got an 8-meter radius with a 28-meter range. Exactly the same for this. This lasts 15 seconds to get 31,000. So let's just take a calculator here, and I'll take out 31 and 40 divided by 15, which equates to 2,069 heals per second. Now this is a ground heal, so it's going to tick every second. Okay, so now let's take a look at budding seeds. There's a lot more involved in this. So there's a burst heal that happens at the end when the spell blooms, so to speak. When the bloom hits, it's going to hit for 14,897, or somebody can activate this energy early and get a harvest heal for 13,000 over 5 seconds. You can activate this ability again and cause it to bloom instantly. So if you do it like this and then hit it again, it blooms instantly. So that's where that comes from. And then it's got a standard heal over time every second for the 6-second duration. So in order to figure this out, it's kind of a convoluted thing, but you can do the healing over time, which is going to be 1881 times 6, which is 11,286. And then you can add the 15,949 from the bloom. And then I'm not going to add this synergy down there because that's pretty much contingent on somebody else, but I'm just going to count the heal that you can control, basically. So if we divide the amount of healing from the heal over time plus the burst heal there, we get over 4,500 healing per second in a 6-second window. So this is a much more powerful heal. It's essentially the same size and range, and it actually costs less. It's almost 1,000 Magicka less. I'll go into that real quick here. So you can see it's 2321 for the Illustrious Healing, and it's 1457 for this. Now, if you want to use both of these, by all means, I'm not telling you you can't do that. I'm just trying to figure out bar space for a subclassing healer to maximize what you bring to your group. And if you've got two ground heals like this that are real similar to each other, then you kind of don't have the as wide of a variety of spells that you can provide. This is a sticky hot. This is your burst heal for when you're in trouble. This provides a shield. Now I am on my Dragon Knight healer, just to be aware of that. So this is a little bit of a unique build, but I've got the Necromancer healing skill line and the Warden skill line on this build. So paying attention to what type of heals you have on your bar, this is a good replacement for the Illustrious Healing to kind of free up using some of the other in-class stuff as well, because it is more powerful than the Resto staff abilities are. These passives here only require you to have a Resto staff equipped, whereas in-class abilities may require you to actually slot a skill to gain the benefit from them. So you're still going to have all of your Resto staff passives active, but you may not have as powerful of a spell here as you do in your in-class that you're picking from. So keep that in mind. So another thing that this changes for healer builds is if I'm not going to use the Grand Healing, then the ever so famous and highly used Master's Resto Staff is essentially kind of not as optimal anymore, because it's not going to proc on that bottom portion there. You still get that max Magicka there, which is nice for a two-piece, but if you're going to need max Magicka from a two-piece, there's better ways to get that. You could virtually look in your sticker book and find, let's just look at right there. There's a two-piece max Magicka that has more, so you wouldn't want to keep the Dragonstar Arena Resto Staff just for that max Magicka, because it's not as much as a regular two-piece bonus would be for the Magicka. So what do I do instead? Well, on this build, I actually front bar Kind's Wind. And the reason why is because you can proc this essentially every 10 seconds. There's only 4 seconds of downtime. Or excuse me, 6 seconds of downtime, because it procs for 4 seconds, and then you can re-proc it again in another 6. So you can see the ring. There's the ring there. I should probably do that on a different spell so it's easier to see. I'll do it with the Radiating Regeneration. There it is there. There's the Kind's Wind. So that makes it easier. I can front bar this, and I use the Maelstrom Ice Staff on the back bar because this increases my DPS. Other options that you can run, if you are running the Radiating Regeneration and you still want to use a front bar arena weapon, you can use the Precise Regeneration. What this is going to do is when your regeneration crit heals, it's going to give you Magicka back. Now, personally, I don't think that's as valuable. There's a crit heal there. Because I don't have trouble with Magicka recovery on my healer builds. So the Dragonstar Arena healing staff was giving back resources. Well, I'm using Kind's Wind now, and that is a little bit better of a return. So essentially, I've looked to add a little bit something different to the build, and so I went with the Maelstrom Arena in Ice Staff. Um, the Vateshran Staff, you have to use Force Overflow for this. Not real common to use that, so um, if you're in a situation where you are using that spell, this could be something that's uh, really good. This actually can outperform the Dragonstar Arena Staff if your allies stand in the tether, but a tether is kind of a pain in the ass to work with in content because generally they're not stacked up tight enough to get hit with a tether. So keep that in mind. Same with the Blackrose Prison Staff. This will give you major vitality, or excuse me, give your allies major vitality, which is nice. However, there is an easier way to get that buff, and that is through the scribing. You can get the you can change this, which I don't have created right now. I don't use this guy very often, as you can tell from how some of the skills are. But that's another option. Probably, I think the best replacement for the DSA staff would be this um, Timeless Blessing, because it's going to proc off of Combat Prayer, which is going to reduce the cost of your uh, healing abilities, regardless of what resource they cost. So if it's a stamina ability like Echoing Vigor, it'll reduce that. But if you're spamming, like especially if you are healing ice cages or something, and you're going to have to spam Combat Prayer a lot, that's going to reduce the cost of Combat Prayer by 21% when you're spamming it. So, for example, this one only cost me $31.85. So, if you take 21% off of that, it's only going to cost 2,500 Magicka with that kind of a reduction. So, much more easy to spam. So that'd be something that to look at if you're going to change off from using the Grand Healing. This right here is, in my opinion, probably the number one, because you do use this quite a bit. The Combat Prayer. It's a very common spell to use, and it's very effective. Burst Heal gives your group Minor Resolve and Minor Berserk, and it should be a staple on every build. It's just powerful. But that's going to do it for this video. I just wanted to cover a small change I did on my healer videos in a tight video, just focusing on that. If you thought this video was helpful or interesting, please check out my YouTube channel and go down to my created playlists for all of my organized Elder Scrolls Online content. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.